It's good to see you again. It's been so long since you've been here. You had me thinking.
So today's edition of Unity Train on your radio, Unity now 3.3 FM and Unity TV. Asia the remains my name, your regular anchor on this wonderful program, and today happens to be Tuesday, the 21st day in the month of May, the year 2024. Okay, you can call me Kobe if you like, and I'll be just fine. This program has 3 segments to it. The first is review, and the second 30 minutes is our transit segment, we call it. And the last segment is where our listener and viewer gets to join the conversation. That's what it is even this morning. I'm particularly very happy knowing fully well that you tuned to this very day. And I want to say that God in His grace and mercy, remember His grace and mercy endures forever. May He remember you, and not for judgment but for healings if you're passing through any health challenge. Whatever it is that you trust in God, inasmuch as it's something that will bring about growth, development, increase, that is good. I pray that He remembers you for all of that even this morning. And I believe someone is saying amen even right there. Thank you so much. You know I don't do this alone. So in the studio this morning, I'm very happy to introduce our guest. To my right is Barrister Paul Zaruma, that unbiased political analyst. He'll be saying a very big good morning to our listener and viewer. Thank you. Barrister, over to you.
It'll be good morning, good afternoon, good evening to our viewers and listeners, depending on where you are receiving these signals from. I wish you a blissful and a beautiful Tuesday morning.
All right, without waste of time, students loan 1.2 million beneficiaries listed as the scam begins Friday. And this is on Punch, and another one say food imports hit $1 trillion naira over flooding insecurity. CBN says that, and weaker Fubara face of can destabilize Niger Delta, and this is credited to Jonathan. And the minimum wage labor insists on May 31st deadline as talks resume today. This is just but a little out of the many we hope to bring your way this morning. To my left in the studio this morning is Professor Paveno H. Barmy, and he's coming your way. Of course, you're used to that, except if you are joining us for the first time. It's a big good morning your way. Stay tuned.
A big good morning, viewers and listeners from around the world. If you're in other parts where it's not morning, good afternoon, good evening.
Yes.
We are glad to be back on air again, as usual. Mondays to Fridays on 93.3 FM radio and Unity TV. Those of you joining through Facebook, YouTube, we're happy that you're part of this wonderful, fantastic broadcast coming to you from Unity FM radio and TV. This Unity train, a fantastic train, a train of unity, a fantastic train taking us to a fantastic destination.
Yes.
But let me quickly remind you how fantastic are your goals for 2024. And have you fantastically achieved a fantastic percentage of the goals, objectives, dreams that you have for 2024? Remember, they said time waits for no man. It was just like yesterday we said Happy New Year. Some people said, well, I'm going to do this next month, or I will do it the other month. May is going to end. Today is already 21st day of May. By the way, it could be today is International Tea Day, so we should take some tea.
Yes,
maybe
we're
after
prepared
this
already.
broadcast.
By the way, by virtue of our props, we are ready.
All right, so how far so far have you gone in achieving those goals? Please remember there will be obstacles. There will be challenges on the way. There will be resistance on the way, but persistence breaks resistance. Obstacles will be there and difficulties, but remember, in the middle of difficulty lies opportunity. So perspire to acquire what you require in life. In case you do not acquire, don't retire. Keep refiring. Keep refiring. Remember what Thomas Edison said? Genius is 1% inspiration, 99% perspiration. So don't give up when things don't seem to be moving on well. Keep advancing, keep perspiring, because, you know, winners don't quit, and quitters don't win. Remember that tough times never last, but tough people do. So keep moving on. As long as you're moving, there is no problem. It is when you remain stagnant in one place, then you never get to your destination. But if you're crawling, at least you're moving. You're walking, you're moving, you're running, you're moving. And better, you can even fly to your destination. And while you go about pursuing your goals, your dreams, your objectives, your great visions for 2024, please remember to be that change that you want to see in the world.
Lovely, wonderful movement we have begun already. Join the trend, and I'm sure we'll arrive at nothing less than a fantastic destination. That's what it is here, especially having you on board as you tune to this very dial. Let's just begin to see the issues we'll be able to look into this morning, as we have them trending on our dailies. All right, we have a lot, but just a few. You have the opportunity also to give us just any that probably we will not be able to bring it up. That opportunity is there for you. So let's just start. Food imports hit $1 trillion over flooding insecurity. I would want us to start locally, and then we just go to see maybe international news as well. There is this poor compliance to traders in the city of Jos, in some places, marketplaces. That compliance barrister is one that up to now we still have callers who would call to say, myself, I was at Terminus yesterday, I saw things myself. It's as if nothing ever happens to clear up and to make sure that the roads are made free.
In fact, if you took the word from my mouth, yesterday I was around Terminus, and I said nothing has changed. Terminus is back to business. Terminus is the same like it was before. You know, goods were spread everywhere, people were selling everywhere, people were blocking the road everywhere. In fact, when I got to Terminus, I spent I can't remember exactly how long, but it took a long time for me to leave because we're stranded right there. In fact, at a certain point, I had to give a young man 200 naira to help clear, the traffic at a certain point so that we'll be able to pass and move. Because they're just selling everywhere. Well, it was the definition of anarchy and confusion and pandemonium. So it looks as if the people are back to business. This morning again, I passed through Terminus. Everywhere is littered, dirty, smelling. You will think that maybe you're in a refugee camp or you are in some slump. You will see polythene bags and garbage everywhere, And this is terrible. I think it is high time JMDB and all relevant authorities ensure not only compliance of these traders, but the sanitation, hygiene in that Terminus. That place is a breeding ground of diseases and infection, in addition to a place of confusion, a place of anarchy and pandemonium. If you are coming to Jos and you pass through Terminus, you will just wonder what kind of city is this on earth? Is it that there is no government in existence? Is it that everybody is just his own government? You wonder what kind of disorganization, what kind of anarchy and confusion is this? It is high time something is done. Not even just because the metro buses are here and all that. A city should have some semblance of sanity, of organization. But Terminus represents anarchy. It represents pandemonium. It represents confusion. It represents, lack of sanity. It represents, you would think that it's just madmen that are staying there. You would think that, am I in a place of mad people? So I think it is high time the authorities concerned should do something about this terminus area. We've recommended that all these people who are defaulting, carry them, put them in the just correctional facility. If that space is not enough, create more space, build more space, keep them there. By the time you begin to arrest people, make an example of these people who are bent on breaking the law, then people will learn. But when you just come and you chase them away, they go, and then you leave them. You come again, you chase them away. It is the same principle we've been using for Boko Haram, ISWAP, and bandits over the years, and it has not worked. And we want to use the same thing in Terminus. It is not going to work. Get those people, put them, hide them in prison, and then people will learn that the government is serious.
And you just mentioned the Boko Haram approach that has been used over the years, but I think we're coming back to that so that we discuss it at length. The approach that the military has taken so far that is yielding some good results. But I will let Barrister to talk about. Please, Barrister, we really would love to hear your own thoughts as regards the way people are still back on the street, especially in Terminus. Should the people, what should they do, even if they have something to tell the government? Is this the right way to do any of this?
You see, there is lack of consistency on the part of government, and then there is also moribund approach. You see, during the regime of Dare, the same approach. You chase them after 2 weeks, 3 weeks, and then they back to business.
Yes.
During Jonah, the same approach. Better in the regime of Jonah, there was prosecution, there was some arrest, just like Prof was pointing out, and there were a lot of things. So at least during the regime of Jonah, the control was sustained for some period of time. But as soon as politicians arrive, the whole thing relaxes and business go back to normal. So, and then during Lalong, there was also an attempt. Yes, Lalong also did attempt to particularly during, there was a time that the scraps in Terminus were cleared. The government of Lalong at that time also control the people, but it was not sustained. The same approach. Now, this is the regime of Mutfang. The same approach. Now, how can we expect a different result? You can't expect a different result when you keep on doing something and over again. You will definitely get this. So the government should look into it. There should be a sustainable implementation. We should be a lawful society. Without law, there will be no state. Without law, there will be no country. Without law, there will be. It is law. Like I said the other day, Nigerian is the creation of law. Plateau State is the creation of law. Just North is the creation of law. Even the market itself is the creation of law. So there are rules and regulations that guide and regulate the conduct of behaviors of people in the market. So we cannot live in rancor, in chaos, in anarchy, and behave as if we have no government, as if we're in a banana republic. I think that is not fine. That is not good. We should government should take drastic measures. Government should. I passed through Tomatoes Market. There is a fair
Tomatoes Market. Is it
Faringada Market? Okay. Yes, the Faringada Market, which is popularly known as Tomatoes Market, but at least we have cabbage market, we have sugarcane market. So it's a Faringada Market is a better name for it. So I think the compliance is still there. But by the time they observe that Gadabu people are not compliant,
yes,
Faringada are not compliant. Now, the lack of compliance become the trend. And once it becomes a trend, the misnomer become the normal. So this is very unfortunate that we're in a country where what's supposed to be absurd is what is considered, what's supposed to be odd, what's supposed to be misnomer, is that's what has become normal in this country.
Perhaps,
you can't say that you have right to sell. Yes, you have right to sell as a citizen, but your right stops where another person's right stop. If you have right to sell, another person have the right to use the road. So we should know that our right have limit. Every right have limit. So the government should wake up to its responsibility and come with a sustainable approach to this issue.
Yes, I received a call for particularly, I think it was Mr. Benedict. He called to say, okay, well, about introducing some of these laws. Sometimes he recalled the issue of a tricycle during Jonah David Jan's regime, where KKs were curfew at some times, in the evenings. But it's like they're back again. And even motorcycle, he wondered if that law is still in existence, because he has seen, KKs and motorcycles all over in the cities, in places where expectedly they shouldn't have been in operation. So he wondered. So now you're talking.
When you talk about motorcycles, KK, and whatever, frankly, we need dynamic transport system that have a lot of varieties and have a lot of options. Now, what led to the disbandment of motorcycle was insecurity. People were using it to perpetuate a lot of evil at that time. And then, very unfortunate, the law is still in place. That law has not been suspended, but it is observed in disobedience. So if you look at the issue of motorcycle, honestly, the government have to provide option of transportation. If you go to terminus or any part of Jos immediately after rain, particularly in the evening, if you see how passengers will be looking for either vehicles, any form of vehicle, either motorcycle, just to go back to their destination. People are going through excruciating times just to go back from. So we need more viable transport system. This is an opening for those who want to go into transport sector. The just transport sector still have a lot of space to be occupied. At times, you see a lot of people stranded. A lot of commuters stranded. So the government alone cannot solve this problem. And then, people should go into this transport system so that we can see how we can help. And then because also it will also give employment. It will take away people from the pool of idleness. Some of these motorcycle drivers, some of them have families, some of them have children, they have dependents, some of them have aged parents as their dependents. Now, if you take away that means of livelihood away from them without an alternative solution, then that is where you will have an upsurge in phone snatching and all form of criminality. So the approach on this issue should be holistic. You cannot throw the baby with the bathwater. So this is, I don't believe that if your head is aching, you should cut off the head. I believe you should treat it.
Okay.
Or you have a weak claw in your hands or in any of your finger, then you chopped it off. I don't believe in that approach. Okay. I believe that you treat it. So, and I think if small thing happen, you ban this, you ban that, you ban this. I don't believe in that. Wow. You have to look at you have to look at it holistically and come up with an idea. I remember when Babajan banned the former governor that is popularly known as Babajan, when he banned the motorcycle, he introduced those small taxis,
Yes.
many of them, and they were able to complement the absence of a motorcycle, and then also they were also able to complement unemployment. So, they are also to reduce unemployment. Now, after that, we have found those vehicles have disappeared on the roads. For whichever reason they have disappeared, and now frankly, in the transport sector, there is serious deficit in Plateau State.
Okay.
And that deficit needs to be drastically dealt with. If not, then we are going to snowball into an unintended consequences of our actions.
All right. The list of potential suspects ends the mysterious date of Iran's president. I see. The students' loan, the prof is here. Probably my listener might be a student who would want to hear some more updates about this.
Yeah, the student loan scheme of the government with 1.2 million beneficiaries is kicking off officially on Friday, 24th May 2024. You will recall that we've talked severally about this student loan scheme, and we've presented our own opinion and views about it. But the federal government said the portal will be opened on Friday. Students don't need to interact with anybody physically.
All right.
So if anybody is telling you, bring your documents to me, come and see me so you can get the loan, those are scammers. Don't even listen to them. From the beginning to the end of the process is online. Just visit the portal and provide your relevant information, which will include your NIN, your JAMB details, your university admission details, matriculation number, and all the rest. And then you're on your way to securing this loan that is payable 2 years after your National Youth Service. Now, this is the government's own way of ameliorating the sufferings of Nigerian students. When you're able to get a loan each year of 500,000 to $1 million, you'll be able to take care of a lot of needs. So students should not be afraid of getting the loan. Now, the first phase of the loan will be federal universities and federal polytechnics. And if you are a student in any of the federal universities or federal polytechnics, on Friday is your day, the portal will be open. So go straight away and begin the process. However, the government has also cautioned that it is only universities that have complied by uploading the data of their students to the platform. It is only those universities that their students will be able to access, the portal to get this loan. Now, disbursement of the loan will be, the government said, as soon as the process is completed. So apply in a few weeks' time or a few months' time, you'll be able to get this loan disbursed. The money will be paid into the account that you're going to be supplying. But like I have said previously, that for us academic staff of universities, we are of the opinion that the government should do more than this. The government should give some grants, some bursaries, some scholarship to our students instead of burdening them with loan schemes. This one loan, that one loan, so many loans, left, right, and center.
The country,
at the end of the day, you have citizens who are full of loans. Even the country is indebted. Every Nigerian is indebted. There is no Nigerian that is not indebted, because Nigeria is owing trillions of naira, internationally. So, but be that as it may, but it is a small step, in the right direction.
Okay.
At least the government is doing something a little bit tiny, microscopically good, by offering this to them.
I hope you heard that.
Yes.
It's very tiny, but then it's a good one, and so we appreciate. Yes, that's what it is. Very quickly, maybe we're just talking just 2 more minutes about can we commend men of the security forces doing the needful, combing the forest there, Sambisa, and rescuing a good number of people. Though we talked about this recently, but of course, just about a strategy, it seemed to have been changed, and we're seeing results. Yeah. So can we commend?
Anytime you change a strategy, there will be a change in the output, the outcome, the results. So we've seen the military entering the Sambisa forests now more than ever. And so they are bringing these captives from captivity, 386 and more coming, because the Major General Major General Haruna said many more will be rescued in the days to come. And this is a very fantastic approach, because Sambisa forest that we're talking about is just about the size of Just Not local government area. So it's not a very big place. So if we release soldiers there, there is a lot that we can do within a few days and a few weeks. So we want to commend the Nigerian military, the security forces, for adjusting their strategy and being very proactive, being on the offensive. So please keep up this tempo. Chase these terrorists to Lake Chad Basin. Chase them to the borders of Niger, Cameroon, and all those places, and ensure that you keep giving them a bloody nose.
All right, it's time for a short break, commercial break to be precise, and just after 8 we'll be back again. Our listener, please, and viewer, we'll be right back.
Mr. Politician, it's good to see you again. It's been so long since you've been here. You had me thinking you were dead. How's your taxpayer mansion? How was your
Unity? Unity TV.
Mr. Politician, it's good to see you again. It's been so long.
Thank you for staying tuned with us on this very dial, Unity 93.3 FM from the hills of ZINARIYA. Again and again, every weekday, Mondays to Fridays, we come your way with this very program, Unity Train, on your radio and TV. Ishadamu remains my name, your regular uncle for this very program. I have two gentlemen in the studio. To my right, it has been Barrister Paul Zaruma, and to my left, it has been Professor Paveno H. Ba Mayi, and this is the segment with which we get to discuss. And today, God's willing, we'll just take a ride to look at illegal use of force against civilians by men of the uniform. And so I want to believe that you would love to be a part of it. Has there been anything you would love to tell us? We're streaming live on Facebook at Unity Radio FM/TV Jaws. Drop your comments and I'll get to read them. Before then, I would love to apologize that we'll have to buy into this very time, maybe some 5 minutes ahead of it, to talk a little about some of the headlines that we really cannot do without saying something about them. And so please, let's just go very quickly. ASU and the rest. So, Prof, over to you.
Well, viewers and listeners, you will recall that last week, the Academic Staff Union of Universities gave the federal government a 14-day ultimatum arising from the ASU-NEC meeting that was held at the Obafemi Awolowo University, Ife. And the 14-day ultimatum, 1 week, about 1 week of that 14-day ultimatum has already gone. So we have about 1 more week. Now, ASU presented a number of demands. One of the demands was the constitution of governing councils for federal universities across the country. Another demand is the pending issue of unpaid salary arrears because of the 2022 nationwide action by ASU. And of course, other issues that remain unresolved is the federal government ASU agreement of 2009, which borders on funding of Nigerian universities and ensuring that universities across the country are reasonably funded and academic staff are reasonably remunerated. One of the issues that ASU demanded during the 14-day ultimatum has already been taken care of, and that's the constitution and reconstitution of governing councils of federal universities across the country. Now, the governing councils will be inaugurated 30th and 31st May, and that's a good step in the right direction. But the other matters remain unresolved. The federal government of Nigeria is still owing academic staff of Nigerian universities 3.5 months salary arrears arising from the 2022 ASU strike action. Well, depending on who you meet, 3.5 months to 4 months arrears is still being owed. The other issue that has to do with the agreement between the federal government and ASU, and several agreements, the latest of which was the NIMI BRICS agreement, just before ASU went on strike, that matter has not yet been handled. Academic staff of Nigerian universities are still earning less than what a house girl, a housemaid earns in Saudi Arabia, in Kuwait, in the United States, the United Kingdom, even in Southeast Asia. In fact, a Nigerian professor earns less than a house girl in the Middle East, in Southeast Asia, in the United States and the United Kingdom. In fact, in the United States and United Kingdom, a house girl, a house help, will be able to pay 2 or 3 Nigerian professor salaries. Apart from that, the environment is so harsh for academic staff to work because there are no incentives, no facilities for research. You still have universities where students are sitting on the floor, sitting on the stairs to attend lectures, sitting on the windows, standing outside to attend lectures because there are no facilities. In the University of Jos, it was us, academic staff of the University of Jos, that contributed money from our salaries to build a 1,000 capacity lecture theater that we donated free of charge to the university from the money of academic staff. So what more have academic staff in this country not done? They have laid down their lives, they laid down their salaries, they laid down their time, their ambition and everything for the students, for the government, for the love of the country. But for the federal government to just do the barest minimum. Barest minimum. In fact, barest minimum. Give academic staff of Nigerian universities even the salary of a house help in the United States and the UK. $1,000 or more is a problem for the government. Now, put the welfare of academic staff, make it look a little bit, maybe something like the average for African countries. They say no, it's too much. Okay, what about the average for West Africa? They say that one also is too much. Now, what do you want? What you want to keep paying academic staff peanuts? And yet you're talking about Japa syndrome. Oh, let's stop the Japa syndrome. Nigerians should be patriotic. They should stop running out of the country. I can tell you free of charge that most academic staff today, if they just get a good opportunity in the US, in the UK, and Germany, other countries, they're leaving Nigeria. And they're already living in droves. You have lecturers leaving the country, nurses leaving, doctors leaving in their thousands every year. Can we continue like this? Less than 40% of academic staff in Nigerian universities have a PhD. Can we continue like this? For how long? Because as we produce the PhDs, by the time they get PhD and they started working, they're out of the country. They've gone somewhere else where they'll be more respected. And that is why ASU is putting our foot on the ground and saying, look, we cannot continue in this anarchy, in this pandemonium, in this total disregard for education. And that is why ASU is saying, look, we're going on an action if the government doesn't do something, because the government, the only language they understand seems to be strike. And ASU is saying, all right, we're having a series of activities to create awareness, so that if ASU down tools, people will not be saying, Haba ASU, your own is too much. ASU, why are you doing this now? Please, viewers and listeners, you are listening, go and tell the federal government of Nigeria to do the right thing. Please. Some of you who are highly connected, some of you listening maybe are ministers, senators, and the rest. Maybe from the presidency or even listening. Please do the right thing. It is not when ASU down tools that you begin to blame ASU and say ASU is selfish. ASU, what do they want again? ASU, your own is too much. Now ASU is telling you that the federal government has refused to honor her agreement with ASU since 2009. The agreement of 2020 was not honored. 2021, 2023 has not been honored. Up to now, the federal government of Nigeria has not honored this agreement with academic staff over the years. So please, the federal government should do the right thing, and then we will not be having this disharmony on our campuses. We will not be having this unrest on our university campuses.
All right, thank you so much. And now let's just go back to do with what we have for a topic today. Of course, we'll just be looking at the unjustified and often unnecessary use of excessive force by men of the uniform, against the civilians. We want to give our listener the opportunity to tell us, after the EndSARS protest a few years back, so how far so far? Has the situation changed? Is it still the same? So we want to know what kind of a relationship that is, being played out there. Okay, and I know that men of the uniform tuned to this very station right now will be happy to know if some of them are not representing them well. So I have in the studio same gentleman that has led us from the very first beginning of the program. Now again, we continue together. I'll give it to Barrister even as we get to see what exactly should men of the uniform do, what kind of relationship that is expected of them, what is the right of civilians. I would have loved, maybe we take a ride, we look at what prompted the EndSARS protest and all that, but maybe some other time and some other programs because of time. If we start there, we may not be able to take a look at it. So what is expected?
Yeah, when we talk about brutality of citizens, by the security forces, not police alone.
Not police.
The entirety of Nigerian security forces, mostly, when they see civilians, they don't see them as citizens. They see them as victims. That's why you hear nomenclatures like bloody civilian. In the context of the police, they call you criminal, even when you have not been convicted.
Yes.
They will call you stupid. At times they will even say, I will shoot you and nothing will happen. All sorts of things. So that orientation, I said I'm saying it for the opting time, emanated from the colonial era. During the colonial era, the police were used as instrument of suppression. The colonial masters were using the police, the pre-colonial police, to suppress the citizens. And when Nigeria earned her independence in 1960, there was no deliberate effort to reorient the police. So the police carried on with that mentality. Unfortunately, there came series of intervention of different coup d'etat. So the military regime came on, and then the military, also in their dictatorial tendency, now we are also using the police as instrument of repression. In some extreme cases, they use soldiers as instrument of repression. They suppress the citizens, and then they use them even in protests that train riot police are supposed to handle. In some instances, you see military going into civilians issue. Now, after military regime, unfortunately also for the Nigerians, the 1999 Constitution was drafted by the military. So even as we are in the Fourth Republic, the Constitution that we are enjoying today was drafted by the military. Even though in the panel of the drafters of the Constitution, there are lawyers, there are jurists of high repute involved, but the entirety of the Constitution, the entirety of the constitutional drafting process was teleguided by military, and their vested interest was well guided and protected by the Constitution. It is quite unfortunate again that this trend is still reflecting.
It's reflecting.
Now, when you talk about what brought about the ENSAS, one of the most brute security arm of the police was the ENSAS, the SAS, the Special Anti-Robbery Squad. They were created mostly to respond rapidly to armed robbery-related incidents. And then in the process of time, their responsibility was enlarged to cover areas like internet fraud and some other related areas. But in the process in time, the SAS department of the unit of the police became a law to themselves. Now when they became a law to themselves, they started, there are allegations of rape against them at that time. There are allegations of extrajudicial killing. There were allegations of unwarranted arrest. There were also allegation of long incarceration without warrant, arrest without warrant, long incarceration of citizens, and so many things. In fact, one of the most bizarre things about the SAS is that they hate to see the young people with laptop. They hate to see the young people with iPhone. They hate to see Nigerian young people driving exotic cars, even if it is their parents' car.
Or putting on
yes, when you wear dreadlocks, you are a criminal. And then they become like a class monitor, monitoring Nigerian youth. So the youthful demography became the major victim of that department of the police. That was some of the events that greeted the emergence of the NSAS. Now, today is not a NSAS anniversary, so we will not dwell on NSAS. Maybe we will talk details about NSAS when, because generally the netizens in social media are celebrating the 20th of October of every year as the anniversary of NSAS. Now, eventually, as a result of one of the outcome of the NSAS demonstration was the disbandment of that NSAS department. They changed the name to SWAT. Yes, SWAT are not really behaving like SAS. We still have the SWAT department. The SWAT are doing very well. Though we rarely have cases of the SWAT abusing right of citizens.
But don't you think, Barrister, it's just a matter of time, because you have established also that SAS never started in the way their operations were not appreciated. They started and they were doing well, but with time they started doing in such a way that it's also SWAT not also...
The SWAT is doing well, so we have to say
at the moment.
Now, the police in general, they really see the police really need to work on themselves as an organization. The army really need to work on themselves as an organization, and so many other paramilitary. And we must also commend those who are doing their work very well. I still insist that the NDLEA may not be perfect, but frankly, the NDLEA are doing very well.
Okay.
They may not be perfect. They are doing very well in arrest. They are doing very well in investigation. They are doing very well in prosecution. I have said it, and these are verifiable, that NDA used to win about 96 to 99% of their cases in court. In fact, in most cases, in NDLEA cases, even lawyers will tell their clients, just admit liability so that we will plead alukutos. We will just ask for mercy from the court. Why? Because the NDLEA are doing their work effectively. I think even EFCC and ICPC should go and learn prosecution from NDLEA. Now, an NDLEA have this reputation. You hardly hear of any report of human rights abuse by NDLEA. You also hardly hear of any situation whereby NDLEA set up somebody. In most cases, before NDLEA will embark on arrest, they will have gathered intelligence, accurate intelligence. So one of the most professional body in our security is the NDLEA. They are doing fantastically well, and then we must say it. It's not about when Nigeria is doing well, let's say it. So, and when NDA are mounting their roadblocks, once they conduct a search on you, and they did not find anything on you, they don't arrest you. They don't arrest you. They don't collect money from you. So you can see that the approach of NDLEA to security is well commendable, and Buba Marwa is doing fantastically well. You know, he has actually changed the face of NDLEA and upgraded NDLEA to certain level. And think Buba Marwa is an achiever. Any responsibility you give the likes of Buba Marwa, you know, they tend to do well in that area. So I am not saying that they may not have their shortcomings, they may not have their excesses or limitation, you know, but they are mostly working within the confines of the law and with the rules of engagement. Now, the major problem we are having now, you know, for instance, the military. Recently, we are talking about a protest in Plateau State University, where military were sent to quell the protest. Instead, they exacerbated the entire thing. Now, you can see that that was an excessive use of force. How can you, when there are trained riot policemen, then you go and bring military men who are not trained in terms of civil protests to go and quell protests? And that was why we have the issue that we had in Plateau State University. So the instances are much. And you know, the military need a reorientation against this a bloody civilian mentality. You know, when you go to America When you go to countries like Israel, when you go to, they don't see their citizens as bloody civilians. They protect their citizens. When you see the professionality in terms of, even in disaster, if you see the professionality that American military used to display, you will know that, once, the military have an humanitarian angle. And I'm telling you, when you see the military, even Nigerian military, I have had an encounter with some of their humanitarian approach. Wonderful, fantastic. But once you see them in their when they are wearing their monstrous look, and then when you see someone who, even recently you could see videos on social media, some military after training, they will post a video and say, I will deal with all these useless civilians. So you are not wearing this uniform to oppress anybody, to scare anybody, to intimidate anybody. I think that's the orientation that you should get.
Okay.
You are wearing the uniform to protect the national integrity and the territorial integrity of Nigeria. And that should also reflect in every of your interaction. Your interaction with other security forces, your interaction with the civilians, your interaction with government, your interaction with citizens. This who are you mentality, it doesn't happen in anywhere.
Who are you?
You hardly see in an advanced country where the soldier is, who are you? He is a citizen. Yes. Even if he doesn't have money, he's a citizen. Even if he's not educated, he's a citizen. So this mentality of who are you, and unfortunately you could see it reflecting among the civilians.
I think it's good to say who are you than who the hell are you. You know that. Prof, I know you coming later to say who are you and who the hell are you. These are some of the things. At what point do you think, Barrister, that the police should exercise such an excessive approach against a citizen who is refusing to comply? Stop. Yes, maybe commercial tricycle. Okay, you stop. Please come out. Or do this, do that. And they are not complying. And the officer is there just to make sure he's conducting some research or something. And it's for our good. They are just doing their job. At what point will he slap the driver?
There is no situation where excessive use of force is allowed. There is no situation where excessive use of force is allowed. The only, you can only say proportionate use of force.
Right.
But once you say it's excessive, it's not allowed.
It is not allowed.
Yes, but if it is proportionate, you cannot come with a gun, even if it is a den gun, and a police officer is holding a gun, and you expect him to fold his arm. He will definitely use it. In both defending himself and defending the life of other people around. So when he used the gun at that point, you cannot say it's excessive, it's proportionate.
All right.
Yes, but when somebody is not even holding anything, and you cock the gun, and you begin to shoot, if I kill you, nothing will happen.
Well, I'm just taking
now let me just make a point before. Recently, there is a Department of American Police that they used to have body camera, so that it wouldn't be one-on-one evidence when a civilian is accusing you of molesting him. So the department will play that camera and see whether you actually molested the person or not.
Some citizens find it difficult to just obey simple rules, like we have it in terminals at the moment.
Yes.
So how do you expect the police, not really the police alone,
yes,
like we
other security agencies,
how
generally,
do you expect them to behave, to handle the situation and yet have no problem?
Arrest people, take them to the law.
Citizens resist arrest.
Citizens cannot resist arrest except if you do not apply the right approach.
Okay.
That is why they have been trained and retrained. So no citizens can resist arrest. I am telling you, if you see a policeman doing his work the way he should, the police job is admirable.
Why?
Your time will not allow me to give some instances, but I'm telling you, if you see a policeman doing his work, the police job is an admirable job. It's one of the best jobs on earth.
All right, thank you so much. We have but 2 more minutes to go on this, and then it will be commercial break time. Prof, let you say something about citizens' behaviors and then causing the police to want to say, who are you? And some would not bear it but say, who the hell are you? Not only the police but security or uniformed persons.
Well, saying who the hell are you is bad in every occasion. Such unguarded statements should not come from the mouths of law enforcement agents under any situation or circumstance. Now, you see, the police should see civilians as their friends. Those who wear uniform generally should relate to those who don't wear uniforms as friends. That is when we have a more organized society. But sometimes the police feel they're superior. Not even sometimes, always they feel that they're superior because they're carrying a gun. They're putting on a uniform. Recall how Bolanle Rahim was killed in Lagos by one Inspector Drambi Vandi, a trigger-happy policeman that opened fire and killed Barrister Bolanle Rahim. And about a year after or so, Drambi Vandi was sentenced to death by hanging on the 9th of October 2023. Now, these kind of things happen all over the country. The police always feel they are superior. They always feel they can do and undo. And that is why they are always misbehaving. And that's why they make unguarded statements. We've seen a situation whereby just a simple matter, before you know it, they have gone aggressive and they have broken people's bones, they have injured people, and all kinds of things. Now, we know that the police are doing a fantastic job in certain respects, and we commend them for maintaining law and order across the country. We commend them that they sacrifice to stand on the road, stand under the sun, to do so many things. That is fantastic. It is very commendable.
Okay, Prof.
But the police must learn self-control. They must learn to control their anger. The excessive use of force against civilians is unwarranted under every situation, any circumstance. That should never happen.
Okay, Prof, maybe you take it up from there when we come back from the short break. It's time for a commercial break. Please stay tuned. We'll be right back again.
Mr. Politician, it's good to see you again. It's been so long since you've been here. You had me thinking you were dead. How's your taxpayer mansion? How was your...
I was the head boy in my primary school, senior prefect and best graduating student in my secondary school, but drug abuse almost ruined my life.
I was on an average of 2 grams of cocaine per day.
I was taking 8 ampoules of pentazosine daily.
European shisha, cocaine.
I became a user, a dealer, and a gangster.
I saw other users drowning. I knew I didn't want to be like them, but I was already trapped.
My family disowned me.
My employment was terminated.
I sold my car, sold my house. I'll go out well-dressed and return shoeless, shirtless in exchange for drugs.
I was saying things that were not real, and I once stabbed myself because I felt something crawling under my skin.
I contacted NDLEA and started therapy.
I spent 3 months in therapy.
I spent 8 months.
It's easy to relapse, but your mind has to be stronger than the cravings.
Drugs does not love you. You are not the one using drugs. Drugs are the one using you. Say no to drug abuse.
Get ready to be entertained and inspired by the incredible stories around the globe. Don't miss out on the excitement. Hello at Work is an ultimate TV program that brings to you the interesting stories and daily happenings worldwide. Join us Mondays and Thursdays, 10 a.m. as we dive into the daily happenings and stories. Tune in and stay. Say hello to the world as you bring in your ideas, as it is a perfect blend of entertainment and information. Get ready to stay up to date while being entertained.
Mr. Politician, it's good to see you again. It's been so long since you've been here.
Thank you. Thank you so much for joining us. Thank you for staying tuned. This is Unity 93.3 FM in case you're just tuning on, and we're reaching you live from the hills of ZINARIYA in Jos North Plateau